What's going on, guys? So Friday was Ashes of Creation September stream. We got to see some of the Ranger gameplay and some of the enemies, and we got to explore a little bit of the Riverlands and see what was awaiting for us in Alpha 2. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good stream with some of the information that we got and what we saw in the about 30-minute video talking about combat for range combat and how the attack is going to be like tab targeting. There's also going to be like some soft lock going on with a more action-oriented attack, and we get to see a lot of that in this video. Now, some of the things I wanted to point out too that they didn't talk over that they did show was the UI layout and some of the things I liked and did not like about it. So if we look at the bottom of the screen, we see the leveling. So right now, Steven in this video is about level 10. If you want to get an idea about what kind of damage and stuff we may do and what kind of health you may have. Right now he's at 419, 450. He had on a god mode, so he wasn't really dying in there, but he was taking quite a bit of damage from some of the attacks. But we can see that he's at level 10, so this area that he was in may not have been that dangerous at the time. It's kind of hard to see, but I really would have liked to see that they mentioned in the last stream is that the giant Cyclops will be roaming around in the background in the Riverlands, and we didn't really get a chance to see that, and I'll probably have to go through this video again to try to look a little bit closer. I watched it a couple of times, but I still didn't notice anything happening in the background. It would have been pretty cool to see that giant Cyclops walking around in the background with the giant tree stump holding on to him behind, but maybe we'll see that more in the future. Of course, with Alpha 2 coming on, people that will be able to jump inside of that will be able to experience that. Another thing we get to see up here is the mini map in the upper right hand corner. It's a little bit different mini map than what we're used to. It's more of a square mini map. I don't like the vignette look that we have going on with the shadow box. Now, I'm not sure why it's like that. Maybe that's to be holding more information in that area, but right now I feel like that kind of distracts. They could just go ahead and just have that mini map there as it is, and maybe even blow it up, so if you want to have like a little larger transparent map over the screen while you're running, you could do that. But we also have a compass over the mini map and our area location where it says Riverlands. You see he's pointing north and the time. Now, I do like that aspect of it instead of having that big large bar at the top of the screen that we see in games like Elder Scrolls Online and New World. I like that being a lot better over there off to the side and not taking away from the view that we have of the rest of the world. I feel like that immersion is a little bit better. On to the left, top left, we see its health. We see a class icon there where it's an archer. Now, I don't know if it'll stay a class icon. Maybe in the future it'll change to be more of a portrait picture. I do like portrait pictures better, even though the class icon looks pretty good. And I wasn't paying attention, but I wish I should have or could have, to see if those arrows disappeared when he fired arrows, because that would be another interesting way to indicate, how many shots he has for his quick arrow. Maybe it's like a class meter for the class, but it doesn't look like it is. As I scroll through the imagery, it stays the same, but it would be pretty cool. Now we're looking for 19. Of course, the bars and the colors of the health and things are a lot more vibrant. Of course, this is all, I'm sure, will change as the game goes on, because it's still like a lot of placeholder stuff just to get the basics going on. They have a general idea, but I can see that kind of changing to be a bit more muted into the game. Right now it's very vibrant and very bright in comparison to everything else that's going on in the screen. Like, if we look down here at its action bar, these icons are pretty dull. Even this one right here that's active, his number 3 key, where you can barely see the number 3, is kind of dull in comparison to the brightness of those action bars, to the health bars that are up there at the top. So hopefully we'll see a more cleanup on all that stuff as time progresses, but it is cool to finally actually be able to see some of the UI in play. And over here to the left, if you look over here to the left right here, there is a question mark that you can see. To the right, my bad, to the right side of the screen is like a little question mark, and I wonder what that is that he has on the screen. One of the things that we look at again also is the text on the enemies. Now, of course, red text means that it'll be kind of like an aggressive enemy that's going to attack you when you get close to it. However, it's probably the font choice or the size of the text that really makes it kind of hard to read when it's all together, especially when you get all these different shadows against the darkness. It doesn't quite pop like the rest of the the colors for the other things. And I'm sure that's what they wanted to do, but it's a little bit lost, and it's probably due to the size, either the size of the name being such a large name. Maybe they could have the Terragor rain color on top of each other like this instead of side by side, or it's probably just the fact that it's got that black outline. It could be a white outline, might make it a little bit better to see a thin white outline. It's really hard to tell. Right now we're looking at a video, so in game it may be a little bit better. Another interesting thing here too, if we look on a mini map, we have some red arrows going on. We can see that the yellow arrow is Steven, and he's looking in this direction towards this enemy here that he can see right in front of him. But on the mini map, he has a red arrow that is pointing at him. We don't know what that red arrow is. I wonder if that's just like an enemy that's coming at him to charge, and maybe that's what that question mark to the right is, because that would be to his right. And then, but in front of him there is no red arrow marker, and I wonder if this is like a way to see enemies around you. We can hit play a little bit and see what happens with that red arrow as it moves forward. I don't really see anything going on here. The red arrow is still there, but now that he's attacked the enemy in front of him, the red arrow has appeared in front of him and then it disappears. So I'm pretty curious about what that means. He's still turning his camera around. We can see the two guard dogs, but that question mark is still there on the corner. And then in the bottom right, there is a menu icon, the 3 options menu, like the hamburger symbol, I guess people call it as the sandwich symbol. There's a little menu. You also have a little marker here on the left. It's a little white notch. So they didn't really go that far over it. I'm sure that's an options menu, because that's normally the normal standpoint for options menu at the bottom right. That's kind of cool. If everything's kind of minimalist like that, where you don't have a lot of things cluttering your screen. But again, I would like to see more of a options of how you want to lay things out. We didn't get a chance to see what kind of experience these things are giving you or anything like that, because his bar is just there, probably has like a placeholder bar. It doesn't have any color to it. Like I said, you can barely see it. So I think like font choices right now are going to be a big issue, or a problem that they're going to need to fix, because even that Riverlands in the mini map is kind of difficult to read because of the font choice that is used to put on it. It's more like a Times type New Roman, a Courier type font with the fancy letters and stuff like that, instead of just being a simple to read block font, which they should probably do instead of the fancy font. But it's still cool nonetheless. It still works when they go and show us this area up here. If you look to the right, we can see like this red tower right here that they talked about in the demo, which is going to be in Alpha 2, which is the area you can go and explore, and it's having effects over the area. It's pretty cool, and how the node pops up on the screen, how that changes. I like the way that looked as well. As far as the action and the combat goes, I thought it was really cool. In this demo, I thought it moved a lot better. I thought the sounds are there they were looking for. The impact sounds of arrow are definitely a lot lighter than the impact sounds of swords. So hearing the impact sounds hit of the characters as they were going in, as the enemies that he was fighting, it was pretty good. It's pretty satisfying. I definitely liked to see that, and some of the skills were pretty cool, like that one where he jumps over the enemy and does the 3 shots. I thought that was a really nice attack as well. So as far as the ammo and stuff goes in the game, it looks like they're gonna not have any type of ammo that you equip, no type of tactical ammo that you need to keep track of. It's all going to be like an infinite ammo, but they will actually have it set up so you'll have to probably be able to use like some kind of tinctures or whatever to put on your arrows that may be limited in that way. So you had like poison arrows, you only have so many poison vials you'll be able to carry to be able to put on ammo arrows if you want to use poison arrows and stuff like that. So I don't really mind the infinite ammo. I do like the idea. I think it's kind of interesting of carrying ammo around, and kind of adds that little extra point onto the archer. Of course, that would mean like every class I think would need to have something that they need to carry. Well, if you don't have to worry about that, then you're good, because there's like classes like your healers don't need to go and keep grabbing like special healing things to heal people with. Your tanks don't need to go and grab special whetstones to make sure they do more damage or take more damage. So it's really good to make sure that everybody can be on that playing field where everything is moving around really even. Some things that they talked about that wasn't part of this is that there will be some solo options for solo players. It's going to be a little bit harder for solo players to go in and play the game. The game is still built as a mmorpg experience, meaning you'll be able to go around and you'll want to group up with people to do things, but there is a risk versus reward, which is kind of like the core concept of Ashes of Creation, risk versus reward. So it's more risk in going against solo, but you will have a chance of slightly being more advanced in your class. The rewards might be a little bit higher because you can keep a lot of them for yourself instead of sharing with people. So you do have that going for you as a solo player. Something that they didn't really talk about too much here is the slits. So the hood has slits for the ears to come out of. Now that is cool because we don't really see that. We usually see hoods for everybody that go on, and the ears just kind of pop out anyway because of clipping. But because each armor set is going to be made for each race, they're all going to look different depending on who's wearing it. So they're going to be tailored more for that race. And that's something that we haven't seen in any MMORPGs. And they don't really talk about it a lot. They kind of mention it up every once in a while, but I think that's really a big deal. That's like a lot of work to go into making this armor set that's on this elf look way different for it to be on another class based upon its, its race, its culture. And I think that's something that they should bring up a little bit more, showcase a little bit more in the future, because that's something that we don't see in other MMOs. That is a really another unique part of Ashes of Creation that really helps it, I think, stand out to me as far as looking at the world and how the world is built. So that's cool. If you guys want to know more about any other MMOs, make sure you click this video, that pops up right here. And thanks for watching this one, and I'll see you guys in the next one.